Hola! Today, we're taking notes on the conjugations of ser and estar in the present tense, and we're reviewing when we use ser and when we use estar. For the time being, we'll be dealing only, as mentioned previously, with the present tense, but you will be dealing with this a little more in the preterito, second semester, and also in another past tense, the imperfecto, towards the end of the school year. The first thing we want to remind ourselves of is how we conjugate the verb ser in el presente. You should write down both the English translations as well as the Spanish verb conjugations in the table on the first page of the notes packet. You can certainly write down the subject pronouns, yo, tú, él, ella, usted, etc. if you would like, but it's not necessary. You should definitely, however, have the translations into English and the conjugations. I am is yo soy. The informal way of saying you are is tú eres. He or she is, or the formal way of saying you are, you have él, ella, or usted es. We are is nosotros somos. You all are, the form that's only used in España, is vosotros sois. They are, or you all are, is ellos son, for they are, and ustedes son, for you all are. Now that we've reviewed the conjugations, we need to get into a brief discussion as to when we use the verb ser as opposed to estar. We typically use this mnemonic device to help us remember when we use ser. If mnemonic devices help you, by all means go ahead and use it, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to go through and still make sure that you know the rules and know how to apply them when needed. For ser, we have doctor, this word, as our mnemonic device. The D stands for description, the O for occupation, the C for characteristic, similar to description but has a couple of other little attributes there. T for time, O for origin, and R for relationship. When we're talking about description, we're talking about things that are usually permanent, like someone's personality, someone's appearance, someone's name. So the example that we have here that we should write down is yo soy Catalina, soy alta y morena, soy simpática, trabajadora y loca. So the translation into English, if you want to write it down, it's not required, but if you feel it'll help you write it down, is I am Catalina. I am tall and dark. It could, depending on the reading, it could be taken as dark-skinned, dark-haired. I am nice, hardworking, and crazy. Moving on to the first O, occupation. We use ser to talk about what we do for a living or what our jobs are. What we have here for our examples are ustedes son estudiantes, because yes, technically, being students is your current job. Mi esposo es ingeniero. Mi padre y mi hermano son abogados. Y yo soy maestra. The translation into English, if it's helpful to you, is you all are students. My husband is an engineer. My father and my brother are lawyers. I am a teacher. The C is for characteristics, which is similar to description, but also has some things that are a little more changeable often, such as, for example, color may or may not stay the same depending on what you're talking about, shape, and size. Also talks a little bit here about things that we like, things that are our favorites, things that aren't. So for characteristics, our example are yo soy alta y un poco loca. Mis colores favoritos son morado, negro y azul. Mi casa es pequeña. So, what we have here in the English translation, I am tall and a little crazy. My favorite colors are purple, black, and blue. My house is small. The T stands for time. We always use ser to talk about the time of day, the date, and what day it is. So you have 3 questions here that we ask. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? ¿Qué día es? What day is it? ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? What is today's date? The answers to these questions are: son las 8:15, it's 8:15. Es viernes el 15 de diciembre, it's Friday, December 15th. The second O stands for origin, in other words, where we're from. This is the reason why we use ser when we ask de donde eres tú, from where are you, or where are you from, and answer it using ser, yo soy de Chicago, I am from Chicago. This isn't necessarily where you live now, although for many of us it may be. It is where you are from and you consider yourself to be from originally. Finally, we have R for relationship. And this has to do with how we're related to other people, such as family members, friends, colleagues, and classmates, etc., etc., etc. So if we're looking at my family, we have Rosalind y Seth son mis padres. Rosalind and Seth are my parents. Sarah y Noah son mis hermanos. Sarah and Noah are my siblings, or sister and brother. Ricky es mi esposo. Ricky is my husband. Evan y Diana son mis hijos. Evan and Diana are my children. Yo soy hija, hermana, esposa y madre. I am a daughter, a sister, a wife, and a mother. Now we're going to move on to the other verb that means to be, which is estar. Just like you did for ser, what you should do is absolutely write down the English translations and the verb conjugation, and write down the subject pronouns, yo, tú, etc., if you feel it'll be useful to you. Make sure that you put the accent marks over the correct letter A where they're needed in the conjugations of estar. Without the accent marks, the words estás and está mean something completely different. I am is yo estoy. You are informal, tú estás. He is or she is, or you are, formal, is él, ella, or usted está. We are, nosotros estamos. You all are, only in España, vosotros estáis. And they are, or you all are, ellos or ustedes están. Our reasons for using estar, the list is a lot shorter. The mnemonic device we use here is PELT. P is for present progressive, which we'll actually be doing shortly after midterm exams, and you may have seen in 8th grade. The E is for emotions, L for location, and T for temporary. When we're dealing with the presente progresivo, this is not something I'm going to have you take notes on now because we're dealing with it after midterm exams. So right now, don't worry about the presente progresivo. It's not going to be one of your reasons why you would use it, but be aware that you will be seeing it in the near future. We do use estar when we discuss emotions, how we feel physically and emotionally. So we have here, los estudiantes están nerviosos porque tienen un examen. And we also have la profesora está cansada. The students are nervous because they have an exam or a test. The teacher is tired. We also use estar for location. This can be the location of a person or place, and it can be a permanent location, as in the location of a building, which usually doesn't tend to change, or a temporary location, as in the location of a person or a car or a train or an airplane, because those are things that don't tend to stay in place for all that long. So we have a couple of different examples here. We have ¿Dónde están ustedes? Nosotros estamos en la clase de español. This is an example of a temporary reason why we would use estar. Where are all of you? We're in Spanish class. You're not permanently in Spanish class. And this is also discussing people. The second example deals with the location of a building. ¿Dónde está la FHS? La FHS está en la calle A in Framingham. Where is Framingham High School? Framingham High School is on A Street in Framingham. Finally, we finish off with the T for temporary. This is for things that are usually temporary. As we already noted, things like the location of a building are permanent. And temporary is also one of your most basic rules for using the verb estar, one of your most basic reasons. The question we're asking here, that you learned very, very early on in the beginning of your Spanish, is ¿Cómo estás tú hoy? How are you today? and the answer being hoy, yo estoy mal porque estoy enojado. Today, I am bad because I am angry. Now, make sure that you have all of the information and try to complete the little activity at the end of the packet. I do want to see and check off your work when you are done. Thank you very much, and when you're done with everything, complete some of the practice activities. Gracias.